Good afternoon, guys. How's everyone doing on this nice old October Sunday afternoon? Hope everyone's doing well. Hope you're all in the best of health, the best of wealth. Hope you're being the best version of yourself you could possibly be, and I hope you're genuinely lucky in life. I really do. I wish, I hope the light outshines the dark, and yeah, I just wish everyone well, because that's the type of person I am. So I'm going to dedicate this video out to a very, very good old friend of mine who I've known from many, many years, from way back in the day, since the 1980s, in the rave scene when it first come into the UK, probably around 87, 88, when Dave Courtney, when I first met him, and he was on a few of the doors, working a few of the doors back then. But he was the type of a person where he didn't mind getting his hands dirty. So he would join in, he'd get involved with the scene. He'd do a few pills with us back in the day too, and get involved with the dance side of it. And also, he'd have a few blokes working for him doing security work. So, yeah, he had a very, very good head on his shoulders. And he lived a very, very happy life. He really, really did, guys. He was the life and the soul of the party, let's say that. And he could go into a party which was completely dead, and he would literally lift the whole party up. He was that type of a fella too. He was such a nice character all round. And yeah, everyone, and I mean everyone, looked up to him. He was a role model. He's an ambassador. He was an OBE. He done many things for charity, which is why I really, really liked him a lot, because it weren't all about take for Dave. He done many things voluntary. And yeah, he was a funny character, man. I'll tell you what, he didn't mind, letting the cat out of the bag. Let's put it that way. And if he had anything to say to anyone, he didn't mind telling them so. He was that type of a person. Back in the day, he was a bare knuckle boxer. Not a very good one at that, but yeah, he could have a little fight. But when it comes to people like me, he could probably have a good fight and he'd knock the living shit out of someone like me. But actually, in the bare knuckle boxing world, but he did have a good go. And yeah, he used to go to all the charity events and bits and pieces like that. So very, very likable person. He really, really was a likable person. And I had a little bit of a funny story about Dave, because what happened was I think we was in the Arches, which is opposite the Coliseum in Vauxhall, and it might have been Dance Wicked, or it weren't Staunch, it weren't Bagley's. I think it was Dance Wicked, yeah, in the Arches in Vauxhall. And Dave was selling bottles of water from behind the jump, bottles of Evian water, and he had a smile from one ear to the other ear. He was always laughing when he was always joking. I've never ever seen him actually upset. I've never actually seen him lose his rag. He always spun it round and made a joke about things. And that's the type of person Dave was, yeah. The life and the soul of the party. And I'll tell you something now, I'm going to miss him loads, because I had his personal number. We used to speak from time to time. He knew my background and I knew his background. We had plenty of respect for each other, was loyal to each other, and we knew, each other from back in the day. But yeah, going back to that story in Dance Wicked, he was selling bottles of Evian water and he was laughing. And I said to him one night, I said, "Oh, how comes you're selling Evian bottles of water and the lids have been undone?" And he pulled me over to the side and he said, dead on his truth. And he said, "You silly old sod, Joe." He said, because he didn't call me a sod, he called me a swear word, by the way. He said, "It ain't fucking Evian water, it's tap water. It's all about the postponer. It's all in their mind, and they're just buying tap water. They're thinking they're buying Evian water." But yeah, he was making an absolute fucking fortune out of it. But fair play to him, if people were chucking money at him and giving money to him for water, then, you know, he didn't put on the label it wasn't tap water. So really, he wasn't committing no crimes. He was selling them bottles of water, what they was asking for, be it Evian water or tap water. So that's a bit of a funny story. I've got quite a few other funny stories about Dave, and I will be mentioning them as the days go on, guys. But yeah, I was also in Belmarsh with him whilst he was on the unit with Bronson back in the day. And I remember that little room, that little story, and it was flying all around the house, block 4, amongst all of us chaps what was in there in 99, that Bronson was going to apparently really, really severely hurt Courtney. And it was funny because Dave Courtney literally shit himself. And for someone like Dave Courtney to be scared and for him to be on the back foot and a little bit, oh, you know, it must have been a serious incident which Bronson was going to do on him. He was going to do a right old turnout on Colney, apparently. And yeah, it was funny, man. It really was funny. When them stories come about on the wings, we was all in fits of laughter, you know. But yeah, my heart really does go out to his mum. Does go out to like all of his immediate family. It really does. And at times like this, you know, I just don't know what to really say because I know exactly what his family members are going through because I've lost people close to me, like my mum, my dad, you know, a few of my really close family members too along the way. So I know exactly the pain, what they're going through, and probably what they want at the minute is respect, you know, and no questions and bits and pieces like that because, you know, it doesn't matter how it happened, does it? It just matters. What does matter is it did happen and he has passed away. You know, how he passed away and what he passed away of has got nothing to do with no one. But I'm sure it'll be coming out, you know, over social media. I'm sure the newspapers will be jumping all over it. The you know, nasty characters, a lot of these newspaper reporters, isn't they? They thrive off of stories, you know, and they tell lies about people too. And I haven't got not a good word to say about any newspaper, to be totally honest with you. But yeah, my heart does go out to Dave's immediate family. I know right now there's nothing I can say to actually comfort them, but you know, he's a good friend of mine, and I do miss him too already. And you know, I even took my missus over to meet him a couple of years ago over at Camelot Castle, and she got on really well with him too. You know, and yeah, it's like he got on with everyone. He was that type of a person, you know, and didn't matter what walk of life they come from, what nationality they was, what sex they was, what they was into in life. To Dave, they was all the same people. Everyone was on the same level, and he give everyone respect. And you know, we've got to give him respect too. So yeah, man, it's not a nice day. It really ain't a nice day, you know. I've got questions going around in my head, like why, you know, someone with such high celebrity status, someone with such high power up the criminal fraternity ladder would want to, you know, do this. But them questions just, you know, will never be answered, to be totally honest with you. They'll never, ever be answered. You know, there's going to be a lot of speculations about around it and bits and pieces like that. But it's only a direct family. I suppose that as the days or hours turn into days, the days turn into weeks, you know, it will come out of how he went and bits and pieces like that. But I'm not going to mention it on here, although I do know what happened. I'm not going to mention it on here out of respect for Dave's family. But yeah, I've got a few really, really good memories with Dave, and I will be sharing them with you over the next coming few days, guys. So whatever you're doing, stay safe, have a great day, and you know, take this for you know, and you know, just remember, just think to yourself, you know, how lucky we are to be alive, and You know, you just don't know what's going through someone's mind at that time. You can't live in people's heads, because I'll give you another quick story. Me and my missus was out the front in the porchway last year having a sneaky fag. We didn't have the baby at this time, and it was probably around 11 o'clock at night when we heard someone shout out, "Help me, help me!" And we run down the bottom of the road, and we heard where the help me calling was coming from, and it was coming from a house on the top of our road. And we run into the back garden where the woman was, and yeah, she was literally on her knees, crying her eyes out, hysterical, and witnessed her husband hanging himself. Um, he hung himself in the family home. He was in his late 60s. He had a firm, he had his own house, he had a family, he had a lot of collateral around him. You know, he had everything in life what you could possibly wish for, but he took his own life. So this is what I'm saying, guys. You just don't know what goes on in people's minds. You really don't. And you know, Dave was the type of a person, whereas if he was going to do something, he'd do it full hearted. You know, he wouldn't go into half measured. He was that type of a person. That's all I can say on the matter, guys. But whatever you're doing, stay safe. Have a great afternoon, and I'll be back at you again soon. Peace.